When I first saw this question, I almost got distracted by the 5 pounds and the 3 pounds. But as I glanced towards the bottom of the question and I glanced at the statements, I realized that throughout this question and throughout the statements, it's always 5 pounds of caffeinated coffee and 3 pounds of decaffeinated coffee. So then I said, well, it seems that the 5 pounds and the 3 pounds are not significant, and I can just ignore them and think of it as, look, I've got some quantity of caffeinated coffee and some quantity of decaffeinated coffee, and I know from the free info in this question the sum of the costs of those two quantities. So I know the sum, and the question wants to know one of the values from that sum. So I'm thinking, well, what would be sufficient to find the individual values of the things when I know their sum? And I'm thinking, well, if I know the sum and I know the difference of two things, that would be enough to find the individual values. If I know the sum and I know the ratio of two things, that would be enough to find the individual values. So now I'm ready to look at the statements, and I probably actually start with statement 2. It seems a lot easier to evaluate because statement 2 gives us the difference of the two values. So that's kind of what I was hoping for, right? I know the sum from the free info. I know the difference from statement 2. This is sufficient to answer the question, and I can eliminate the answer choices that claim that statement 2 is not sufficient on its own. So A, C, E are all gone. We're down to just two answer choices, B or D. Now statement 1 is a bit tricky because it's describing some kind of mix of two different discounts on the two different items. We've got a 10% discount on one of them and a 20% discount on the other. Now, I would expect the overall discount to be somewhere in between 10% and 20%. It's going to be some kind of weighted average of those discounts. If the more expensive item was discounted more heavily, got the 20% discount, then that would be a good thing for me as the buyer. And if the cheaper item got the heavier discount, that would be not as good for me. But it's going to be somewhere in between. The overall discount for the purchase will be somewhere between 10% and 20%, depending on the actual underlying costs. If I find out, let's say, just for the sake of argument, let's say I find out that the overall percent discount was 12%. That would tell me that the item that got the lighter discount, the 10% discount, was 4 times as expensive as the item that got the heavier discount, because 12 is 4 times closer to 10 than it is to 20. I'm just giving that as an example. Now, when I look at statement 1, what I'm realizing is if I wanted to, if I had a calculator or an Excel spreadsheet, I could find out the overall percent discount for the total purchase. And if I can find that, then I can get from that, building that number line, I can get the ratio of the costs of the two items. And remember what I said in the beginning of this video, if I know the sum of two values and also I know their ratio, then I can find the individual values. So it turns out that statement 1 is also sufficient on its own, and the correct answer is D. If you found this video useful, go to quantreasoning.com for a lot more where that came from. You should also click that like button and let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to make future videos about. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that and click that bell below so you get notified about future videos. See you next time.